This is our last week of the month on the theme of the power of connection. Our speaker asserts that we are more together than alone. And together we are in unity. So you're in the right place at the right time. Reverend Patti Williams was ordained by Unity in 2010, some 14 years ago. She most recently served as a senior minister at Unity of Salem in Salem over here, Salem, Oregon. She also served as the associate minister at Unity Minneapolis in Minnesota for 3 years and at the Church of Manhattan in Kansas for 2 more years. She worked at Silent Unity at Unity Village for 7 full years, 7 years. She hopes to stay here in Oregon as it has been her chosen home since 2019 when she first moved to Portland. Prior to ministerial school, she was a licensed Unity teacher, known as an LUT, at Unity of Beaverton and served as a spiritual leader at Christ Light Ministry in Gresham. I know she doesn't look like she's old enough to do all that, right? She also worked as a marketing director and special events coordinator for the Grotto in Northeast Portland and an event auditor for the Portland Rose Festival. Reverend Patti has her doctorate from Claremont School of Theology near Los Angeles, her master's degree from Unity, her bachelor's degree from Reed College in Portland, and an associate's degree from Portland Community College. Wow. Let us welcome Reverend Dr. Patti Williams this morning.
I'm gonna leave.
I'm about to say, did you want to come over here? You need help? So I have to tell the story. I arrived here without my talk, which was an interesting experience for me because I am at heart a writer and I love words. So I really wanted to share what I had written. And Spirit is so beautiful that my roommate emailed it to me and we got here and Phil has a print shop and Phil printed it for me. I just love how Spirit works in magical, mysterious ways, and it all came together. I also love how important it has been to so many of us to return to in-person services after COVID. And whether we're here online or in person, to feel that connection that some of us lost some of during the time of COVID. And that's what led me to reading Mark Nepo's book, which is called More Together Than Alone, which is what I wanted to base what I have to share with you today. And the subtitle to that book is Discovering the Power and Spirit of Community in Our Lives and in the World. The spirit and power of community, and to realize how powerful that energy is, that we come together in spiritual community, that we come together in unity, that we come together and allow Spirit to work through us and connect us together. And that powerful, that energy can be very powerful in transforming the world. The focus of the book, which is wherever my talk is, I was going to bring the book to show to you, is that the understanding of the pathways that lead to community, that bring us together, can reawaken that knowledge in the entire family of humanity. And that's what we're doing when we come together in community. We're really acknowledging that energy of we are one. We are one community. We are one human race. We are one on this planet, that we are one in unity, whether we believe it or not. that that's the case, whether we live it or not, or consciously live it, I should say, that that is the case. And he opens the book in the first section with a quote from the Dalai Lama that I want to share with you. It says, "We must conceive of ourselves as part of one community. We must support that one humanity through our own spiritually based community and not put our own community ahead of that one humanity. If we want a better world for our grandchildren, we must act now. We can't continue to regret. That change comes from education." Now, he says, not meditation. And a sense of wholeness is a necessity that we must move from I to we, or me turned upside down to we. Now, he says meditation. I want to make it clear that that's not spiritual work that we can't do. It's something that we must do and we must continue to do, but because it's a vital part of the process. However, it's not our only work. It's not the only thing we are here to do. We are here to put that energy of meditation in motion together in community. And Mark shows that happening through story. He tells stories from the beginning of as far back as he could find stories through today. He tells the stories of how we have always come together and offered the lessons that not just we get from being in community with each other, but also from being in community with nature. He shares a quote from Herman Melville, a great American writer, says, "We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow human beings. And among those fibers, as sympathetic threads, our actions run as causes and they come back to us as effects. So our actions run as causes and they thread us together and come back to us as effects. So keep that in mind as as I share the story of aspen trees. I love when meeting you this morning, knowing that I was going to be sharing about the aspen trees. So what the story is about is how intimately we are connected in all that we do, how what we think runs through us and through each other, impacting all of our lives. Now, aspens above ground grow as individual trees, but science has proven that their roots are connected into one living organism, that a grove of aspen trees is one living organism, interconnected through this shared root system. They say that what happens to one tree in an aspen grove happens to all trees in an aspen grove. And everything that they experience is a shared experience. And when one of them is in distress, they all are aware of it. When one of them is infected or injured, the rest of the grove sends energy to help that tree, to help that aspect of the one living organism, similarly to how the microcosm of our bodies work. You know, when there is an infected area, our body comes together and sends the energy to the site of the infection to help create wholeness and bring that into expression in our lives. So we are deeply rooted within these physical bodies in the same way the organism of the aspen tree is rooted. And in fact, we are the aspen trees. I think we're rooted not just in these bodies, but together as one humanity. We are rooted together. And when one is hurt, we all hurt. When one is impacted, we are all impacted. The difference being we seem to be able to make the choice to turn our backs on each other. That makes me want to cry because I think we have been doing that we've been ignoring that call of the nutrients of love to express through us, of the nutrients of support, of compassion, of the things that connect us and bring forth healing. And those are what's needed to share through this root system. So we need to realize that there is another possibility that's something other than turning our backs on each other, that we can choose to stay connected and send this energy to the interior. Damn, we're just sending energy right now. However, we make that first choice to turn our backs on us is a choice to not participate in our natural process, to not be part of the immune system that supports this world. And when we do that, I think we are the cancer. We are the cells that are causing problems when we turn our backs and think that we can walk this journey alone. We are more together than alone. And so something I've learned deeply as I've walked through my own healing journey. In 2012, I was told I had maybe 3 years to live, that my body was experiencing a very rare disease, and that it was going to manifest in a way that I was not going to be able to continue to operate on this planet. Now, at the time, it was not classified as a cancer. It's now currently classified as a blood cancer. But what happened to me is became very aware of the importance of reintegrating those cells into the entire system. And it's why I left Unity of Manhattan and went back to work at Silent Unity. So I was immersing myself in that energy of prayer, where you can't pray with someone without praying from a place of wholeness. Affirmative prayer comes from that place, and from acknowledging our body's resilience to truly do the work that we're here to do. And I'm still here with no active signs of the disease after what, 12, 14 years, I think I heard a little earlier. And what I'm aware of is that we can learn a lot from the aspen trees. We can learn a lot about how that process worked and how together we can choose to demonstrate this kind of energy in our planet in these times of uncertainty, or after a natural disaster, after those things that are going on in the world. You know, a part of the grove, when something happens to something in a row, in the grove, send what's called quaking aspens, which are a fast operating form of the aspen trees. They send these quaking aspens to the damaged area, and they then help to rebuild the damaged area because they grow faster and they grow stronger. The same thing, I think, with affirmative prayer. It's how we grow faster and we grow stronger because it's that level of thought energy that lifts us up. And that it's completely what we teach about in Unity, that we send this specific kind of energy to interact not just with our own physical bodies, but with the physical body of this planet, of this world, of this community. And that's why I think going back to work at Silent Unity helped me, so that I am experiencing wholeness in that aspect of my life. And it's taught me how to continue that process, because I am obviously still in, I think, being in the human race, we're all still in that process of expressing wholeness, both individually and as a community, but that we can grow faster and stronger, especially after things in our lives like a pandemic, only if we remember that we have this common root system, that we are connected, and we have to keep our focus on that connection. A quote from Mark from the book, when he talks about having sat down with some friends in an aspen grove, and he says, once we were quiet, we could feel the entire grove swaying as one timeless aspen. I just love that, how that energy feels. And as 1,000 individual trees on a mountainside in New Mexico, we could almost hear them breathe in unison. I felt certain that in the paradox of the aspen tree waits the secret to our interdependence, being who we are and staying connected to everyone. Being who we are individually, and yet at the same time, staying connected to the collective, to those of us who are joining us online, keeping ourselves connected beyond any sense of space or time. I think that that's one of the things that we've learned from COVID was that we can choose to stay connected. We can choose to be interconnected is a better word through that root system. And there's one grove of aspens that I really must experience. I was reading a lot about them. It's called the Pando. It's in this grove is in the Fish Lake National Forest of Utah, and it contains 47,000 individual aspen trees. It's estimated to be over 80,000 years old. That's amazing. And again, is described by many scientists as the world's largest single organism. Last I heard, the pando trees were in trouble. They were having trouble responding to the dangers that the human race was bringing to them. And it was distracting their energy from being able to heal with this collective energy because they were trying to heal with the collective energy that we were bringing, causing damage to their world. It just makes me so sad. This amazing grove that began as one seed and grew into 47,000 trees is now dying because instead of devoting our energy to life, we've devoted our energy to surviving individually and not to thriving collectively. So when are we going to get it? That it's through our shared roots that we thrive. And it's the only way we're going to thrive. The only way this entire planet is going to thrive. Through holding thoughts and actions that have a global impact, that actually, in fact, have a universal consequences. Those cause and effects that I was talking about before. I think we need aspen wisdom. We need to learn from nature to awaken that realization that we are now and always interconnected to not just everyone, but to everything. And that means that we get to take responsibility for the negative energy that we are part of. We get to take responsibility for what we are holding in our own hearts regarding our environment, regarding those around us, regarding ourselves. We get to take responsibility. And I would say coming here today is part of taking that responsibility. We're here to uplift each other, whether it's here or online. We're here to uplift each other. I love that the person reading the daily word was online and was able to actively become part of this circle and actively a part of that energy. If it's not about me, it's about we. It's about staying connected. That we are the quaking aspen. That's why we do this. That's why we come together in spiritual community, because we are being called, just as the quaking aspen are called, to be that healing energy. And if we can learn from the pando about the difference that we can make in thriving together, we don't have to defend ourselves anymore. We don't have to defend ourselves. We have to be ourselves and be that energy to thrive and live in the world. The great Roman philosopher Seneca said, "We are members of one great body, planted by nature in a mutual love and fitted for a social life." We must consider that we were born for the good of the whole. Nature gives us example of this time and time again, through geese, through trees, through ants, through penguins, through albatrosses. They all innately know that they are connected. They all innately do what is needed for the community to bring forth the highest good. So when will humanity get it? When will we get it that our power is in cooperation? Our power is not in division, that our power is in a quantum understanding, not a dualistic understanding. I think that we're at a unique time in human development when we are really being called because it's a pivotal moment. It's challenging us, it's stretching us, and we are actually up to the challenge. How do I know this? Because we're here. We wouldn't be here if we weren't the ones who were called, if we weren't the ones who were called to make a difference, to turn the current chaos into wholeness, to again go from I to we, be to we. I have a friend, Cindy Swall. She's a life coach, and she teaches a process that to me made such a huge difference. And it's an example of the simple ways that we can do these things. Cindy has worked with Unity in developing a training program, a transition program for Unity churches. She works with a number of Unity churches. She in fact came to Unity of Salem a few times. And she talks about how feedback is not a positive way for human development. She talks about feedback and feed forward. She said feedback seems to be the human thing. Somehow we have learned that there's always a right and a wrong way. And feedback is about whoever is giving the feedback has the right way. And feed forward is future oriented. Feed forward is completely removing the negative connotations and working together to find a way to move forward, to bring forth a higher good, to motivate and support, to find ways to thrive together. It's as simple as changing things like that in our lives, that we no longer create winners and losers, we create cooperation. We create this energy of oneness, this energy that doesn't separate us but connects us. And we stop living through the structures we implement as if they have control over us. We start living by creating structures that move us in the direction that we want to go. And quoting a Karen Drucker song, if anybody knows who she is, we need each other to fly. We need each other to fly. Swami Vivekananda, a Hindu mystic of the Vedanta tradition, said all differences in this world are of degree and not kind, because oneness is the secret of everything. Oneness is the secret of everything. So it's our mission, getting back to our unity roots, which I haven't talked from a lot except for all of this, is what we teach in Unity. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, said it's our mission in the human experience to express all that you can imagine God to be. Our mission is to express all that you can imagine God to be. Is that not even a huge part of why we call this movement Unity? It's why we were each called to be here. It's also what we mean when we say namaste. The Christ in me greets the Christ in thee. We are, each of us, wherever we are at, points of light, points of God expressing in the world, and yet we're not all of it. We're the potential of it, coming together to express the allness of God in the world. And in the energy of that allness, I'd like to close with a meditation. It won't be a long one because I know we have more to come this morning. But I truly invite us each to take a moment to turn within, a nice quiet moment to close our eyes, to relax in the chair that you are seated in, whether it's here or at home, to truly allow that chair to support you. As you focus on your breathing, take a deep, deep breath. And as you exhale, let it go. Just let that energy flow. And slip into that deep place behind the feeling, to that heart space where you can experience beingness itself, where you know you are one with the universe. Breathe it in, breathe it out, and allow these words to be the words of your heart. I acknowledge that God is present in every person and experience. God's spirit of harmony, order, and understanding is at work in every situation, in every area of my life. I deeply feel oneness with all of creation. I lift up all of my relationships, establishing harmony and love. Truly knowing we are at one, I am at peace as I hold these thoughts in a time of silent prayer. Re-energized and revitalized. We come to the close of this time of meditation, uplifted and inspired as we affirm God's love radiating in all directions through this room, through this city, this county, this state, this country, throughout the universe. God's love radiates from our hearts, uplifting this planet. And for this opportunity, we give thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Amen. Namaste.